I'm Calvin Woodham. I'm the incoming chair of Friends of African American Art Association at TFA Museums. It's commonly known as FAAA. FAAA is a membership engagement group at TFA Museums that focuses on African American art and culture. Friends of African American Art at TFA Museums, commonly known as FAAA, was created by Dr. Walter O. Evans. Dr. Evans is a retired African American surgeon here in Savannah. He has amassed an incredible collection of African American art throughout his lifetime. The African American art collection that he donated to the Savannah College for Art and Design includes 500 paintings, photographs, sculptures, and more than 100,000 books and manuscripts.
Hi, I'm Sharona Ray. I am a proud member of FAAA. I'm also a proud graduate of Savannah State University's Visual and Performing Arts program. Being in Savannah State's Visual and Performing Arts program allowed me to dibble and dabble in different mediums. I took painting, printmaking, sculpture, and bookmaking as well, and I fell in love with painting. What has made my experience so special at attending Savannah State is that I've had the opportunity to network with other creative individuals who are on the same creative path of finding their visual voice. It's very important to me to continue to raise awareness of the talent that has emerged from this program. Being a proud member of FAAA has given me the opportunity to build a camaraderie with other creatives. It's also given me the opportunity to showcase at world-class museums here in Savannah while also remaining connected to my alma mater.
I'm a local artist here in Savannah, Georgia. I'm originally from Wrightsville, Georgia. I've been living and working in Savannah, Georgia for the past 30 years. And I'm one of the participating artists of the FAAA 2021 at Savannah State University show here at the Kennedy Center Fine Arts Building. The piece that I have in the show here behind me, as you see, is titled Outside Looking In. Quite often as artists, I think we are always on the outside looking in. And if you notice on the canvas here, there's sort of compartments, and there's sort of a window into each person's humble abode. And when you view the piece closely, you can see quite a bit of interaction that's going on. You sort of see one person perhaps watching television. He's all alone. You see one person who's probably teaching their children.
I'm a member of Friends of African American Arts, which is an arts organization through the Telfair Museums that my mother was one of the founding members of and former president. I am a photographer. I've been studying and practicing photography since I was 7 years old, and I have been going to FAAA meetings for longer than I can remember. For the past 14 years of the 25 years I've been practicing photography, I have been practicing photography as a nude portrait photographer, working with over 2,000 people, covering a wide range that overall aims to show that just because you're naked doesn't mean that your body is inherently sexual. By showing our humanity and by going back and forth between celebrating bodies of every different types to taking the nude portrait photography and making a story out of it, like something from Harry Potter, and creating these really mind-blowing, ethereal fantasy worlds that are still down to earth and in a way organic. And that's evolved over the years. I do glamour and I do the boudoir stuff too. But my goal is to show you that we are much more than just our skin. Growing up with FAAA has been different for me, I believe, than it has been for most people, because at first I was there because I wasn't given a choice. My mom said, hey, we're going, the meeting's happening. I was in high school at the time, she was the president. Where she went, I went. But I always enjoyed everything that we did. The outings, the trips to other museums, The lectures meet in so many different artists. It's been a real privilege. And to see not only see everyone's artwork and the diversity between everyone's artwork, but to meet the artists, to have conversations with artists, to absorb all of that culture. Like when you say Black art, like Black art isn't one thing, it's a million different things. And bits and pieces of all of that, when we come together, like it influences my nude photography. And in my photography, in turn, influences other people. We're all going in one big circle in this huge melting pot, inspiring each other, and we're growing together. And one of the biggest honors that I've had of being a member of Friends of African American Art has been the privilege to be able to do art shows at the Telephone Museums. And I look forward to doing many more. And I hope that my new portrait photography reaches you and it speaks to you. And I hope that you decide to join FAAA too.
FAAA was really formed to create diversity at Telfair Museums. Dr. Walter O. Evans consciously made an effort to create diversity in this space, in this art space, this art museum. And I always tell people that you need to put your foot in the door. We all need to consciously make an effort to diversify our spaces, our homes, our community, our workforce, our workplace, our neighborhoods. And I really am proud to be part of FAAA because I feel it diversifies that museum space. It really helps to create a space for African American artists and anybody who appreciates African American art and culture to learn about the contributions of African Americans artists here in America.
For most of my life, I have communicated with my father through written letters. Weaving the letters together into a textile will simulate the back and forth of communication. But by only using my father's letters, the communication will only show one side of the story. With one person doing all of the talking and the other listening, the transmission of words can become very unbalanced and overbearing for the one listening most of the time. My work is a visual representation of the struggle to communicate with my father in the roles and costumes that he has placed me in from trying to fill in the blanks through written communication. The viewer will experience the type of communication that shapes the life of a young girl growing up with an incarcerated father. My artwork will not only display the costumes that my dad has placed me into due to his ideal version of me, but will also portray his inability to outgrow those ideal versions of me due to him being incarcerated. I have concealed words and used color symbolism to allow the viewer to experience the same difficulties I experienced communicating with my father. I chose a dress that represents the type of girl that my father wants me to be. In my father's eyes, I am still a little girl.
Liberation Through Hair is a contemporary body of work that is centered around my emotional connection to hair. My paintings are a representation of the variety of hairstyles I experienced because growing up, hair was a big deal in my household. So when I decided to cut my hair and go natural, it gave me a sense of freedom and confidence, something that I had never possessed due to the preconceived notions of beauty placed upon me by family and society as a whole. At first, the main reason for this body of work was to shine light on the versatility of Black hair from a cultural standpoint. I knew that sharing my experience would resonate with a lot of African American women because of the emotions tied to the physical process of styling Black hair. I also realized that my journey to natural hair was a big decision I had made for myself. I did not feel I had to run it by anyone, and I was determined to do it. Before that, my parents always made the decisions for me, imposing their standards of beauty from how they grew up on me, in an effort to uphold tradition. As a child with low self-esteem, I was always listening to others, even when no one bothered to listen to me. So when I went into my transitioning stage and finally did the big chop, I was happy and wanted to focus more on myself. The years that followed were the most stressful because I had just started college and was trying to adapt to being on my own. On top of that, I had to relearn my hair routine. At that point, my anxiety and depression levels were at an all-time high. But in the end, I have learned to have more patience with my hair, myself, and my emotions. Each painting explores that connection between my hairstyle and my emotional maturity, beginning with straightened hair on a blue background and ending with my natural texture on a colored field of violet.
My father grew up in a small country town with his family. Living on a tobacco farm was not easy in the early 1940s and 1950s. Every day was a struggle to live. He would tell my sister and me stories about his childhood, but I never felt like they were horror stories or sad stories. It was just my father's life. I have benefited from listening to and experiencing my father's life because the path he chose as a minister. My father could have chosen a negative path, not completing high school, but his single mother's good training helped him make wise decisions. He is truly a faithful man of God and has taught me to be the same. I remember my parents quoting to me one of their favorite Bible verses that says, "I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me." Philippians 4 verse 3. This scripture, the loving support of my family, friends, teachers, and God helps me to succeed as a deaf student and artist. The deaf community is massive, and I want my photographs to be a positive influence on other deaf people who may feel that they cannot do anything because they are deaf. In photography, it is the visual aspect of the work that communicates and expresses what we want our viewers to understand through the images we capture. To truly see and feel a picture is not easy, but like the past or the present, how you focus your sight can allow for seeing more or less. Emphasizing the face or hands is everything, since they are what holds your attention to the images and communicates. Through my work, I am conveying that we all have a story, whether hearing or deaf. My father told me beautiful stories, and I want to share those life lessons of family, history, faith, and service through my photographs.